Good day. Welcome to another edition of Inside Putnam Valley Schools. Eric Rose, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Fran Wills. And Fran, good seeing you.
Good to see you too.
How's the summer?
The summer's been great. I've enjoyed it. I've gone away a bit and come back to a lot of people who are very motivated and very eager to open our doors again.
And there's so much going on this summer in Putnam Valley.
We have facilities work throughout the district. You'll hear more about that. We also have had a number of programs for students here. We have an extended school year program, and we had an ELL program. We now have a kinder camp for pre-kindergarten. So it's been busy with students and with facilities and a lot of work thinking about the later start. You'll hear more about that for this year. And a lot of new thinking, new ideas, new schedules at both the middle school and the high school. So we're excited. We're enthusiastic, as we always are, very eager to get the students back.
Education is so special, so unique, in that every year it's a new beginning.
Every year is a new beginning, and that is what keeps all of us so alive, with seeing young people and seeing the way they grow. It's an antidote to some other things around us that could be negative, we want to rise above. Our goal is to bring these students into their life in a positive direction where they see a future that is available and accessible to them in a successful way. And we're seeing more people buying homes in Putnam Valley, registering their students here, and we're excited about that too. Originally, we had thought that our enrollment at our kindergarten would be lower than usual, in the 80 range, and it's almost 100 right now. So it's between 95 and 100.
What's the total enrollment in Putnam Valley?
I don't have that right now, but we've had around between 1,650 and 1,700, and we're expecting to see some movement to grow. And this is typical of the entire area. There's been some decrease in enrollments,
right? But
we're expecting to see some growth.
Wonderful.
We'll see in another month when everything gets stabilized.
Fran talks about positives, and of course, one issue dealing not only in Putnam Valley, but dealing around New York State, around the country, deals with this issue of smoking and vaping. And a member of the Putnam County Legislature is proposing legislation to increase that smoking age where you can buy cigarettes from 18 to 21. Shall we welcome our guest?
Yes, please. Let's welcome Barbara Scuccimarra.
Barbara Scuccimarra. Well, Fran, Tobacco 21 is on the minds of many people throughout not only Putnam County, but New York State and across America. And our special guest today, Putnam Legislator Barbara Scuccimarra, who is pushing hard for Putnam County to adopt Tobacco 21. Why is that so important, Fran?
Well, for our schools, we see this as a major barrier for student success, academically and socially and emotionally. Tobacco use, vaping, all of these habits and issues have become a big problem in schools today. We are, instead of spending our energies where we'd like to be with the academic growth, we tend to see that we must spend a great deal of time to help our students deal with some of the outcomes that result from a nicotine habit. And that means disciplinary issues because the students are smoking in inappropriate places, or they are, in this case now, it's not so much the smoke we see, but we see the vaping. And there is a terrible need when you are a nicotine addict. And we're seeing the results of that. And what we're dealing with now is really a goal of supporting students in their social and emotional concerns. We must continue our focus and our drive for academic success, but we know that without addressing these other issues, we are finding ourselves in a process where we're dealing with barriers to success.
Barbara is chair of the Putnam Legislature's Health Committee. And Barbara, you've been banging on the walls and knocking on the desk for years for this already.
Yes,
it's finally coming to fruition.
It's a very important issue. We're one of many counties that are considering this, and there are several counties that have already passed it. I think 22 cities and counties in New York State have already passed G21. You know, the tobacco industry saw a decline in smoking, a slight decline, and now they're focusing on vaping. And the vaping part of it is such a scary issue, and there's evidence that this is such a big problem in our schools, and I think the county needs to be there to help the schools through this crisis.
Why is there some, I'm not going to say the word opposition, but why is there some members of the legislature are kind of uneasy about this?
Well, I think it's all in educating yourself. You have to realize that it's just not an 18-year-old issue, and we're not taking the rights away from 18-year-olds. It's that the 18-year-olds are helping the younger crowd get these vaping paraphernalias. And we're interested in the 15, 16, 17-year-olds as well as the 18-year-olds. 96% of the people that smoke today started before the age of 21. There's 30% more nicotine in a vaping, what do they call it? The Juuls, excuse me. There's 30% more nicotine. These kids are getting addicted right off the bat. And nicotine can be a crossover drug to other things. And please, we are in this epidemic of the opioids and the heroin and the fentanyl. Addiction is addiction, and we have to do everything we can to fight addiction.
The American Cancer Society, the American Lung Association, the Heart Association, Putnam County's Director, Commissioner of Health, Dr. Michael Meshwat, have all testified before your committee and saying, smoking kills. It's a known fact. And
it's one of the biggest preventable diseases is smoking. It's cancer and all the heart disease. It's all tied in together. I also chair the One Army against addiction for Putnam County. The county executive put me in charge of that, and I surrounded myself with people who are in this battle every day with addiction. And this is one of the first initiatives that they put forward to me, was raise the age. And like I said, the county executive, Mary Ellen Odell, is in favor of this, and I'm just hoping that these legislators that are on the fence will see the importance of this.
When will the decision be rendered?
September 4th.
September 4th, the meeting of the county legislature. That's at the Putnam County Courthouse in Carmel. And encourage people to come out.
Please come out and really show your support for this. We need to help our children and make sure they do not become addicted to nicotine.
And Fran, the Putnam Valley Board of Education has become the first in the county to endorse this.
Yes, and they did pass a resolution at their meeting on August 16th. And frankly, I'm very proud to be associated with a board that is so passionate about student emotional and social emotional health, as well as the academic education. This issue is not just at the high school. We're seeing middle school students who are involved. And I think what Barbara mentioned about the older students and some of the concerns we have with the middle school students who are also involved in this. And we want to make sure that they have healthy lives. One of the statistics from our coalition that cares really concerned me. It was that the Putnam County teenagers are addicted at twice the rate of the national. They're using they're vaping at twice the rate of the national cohort of teens, and this concerns me.
That's frightening.
And by the way, I have to also say that everything we do to support students should be in a positive way, as well as this type of legislation. In other words, any kind of programs that we can introduce in the town of Putnam Valley, in Putnam County, to involve students in healthy activities, these go a distance in helping kids get away from some of these habits. We need to make sure there are things for kids to do that are positive and healthy. Sports is one thing. Clubs are other things. Activities where they get to know each other, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, social activities. We need to promote anything that we can to get kids involved in healthy activities outside of school. We have a school district that promotes all of these activities through our school, but we also have a wonderful Park and Rec program, and we need to do as much as we can to support healthy kids.
Right.
Thank you. Barbara Scuccimarra, member of the Putnam County Legislature, we thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank
Remember,
you.
the meeting is September 4th at the Putnam County Courthouse in Carmel. Get out that night and show your support for this most important piece of legislation. We thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of the new administrators on board this summer, Dave Spittal, who's a local Putnam Valley gentleman, grew up in Putnam Valley, and he's taken over for our friend Pat Bellino.
Yes, and he's passionate about his community. He's contributed a great deal, as volunteering in so many areas, including a school board member. And he is bringing a tremendous amount of background experience and love to his position as the facilities director and director of operations and transportation. We're thrilled to have Dave here.
Dave, welcome aboard. Well, Fran, there's a new guy on the block this summer. Dave Spittal has joined us. Dave took over as the new director of operations and transportation in the Putnam Valley schools. But as Dave was telling me before, he's been around his whole life in Putnam Valley.
Yes, he's a resident here forever.
Forever.
And that makes him especially valuable to the district because he's seen the history and he knows the district's goals. Dave was one of the great supporters and promoters of sustainability in the district. And a lot of the work that's going on that Dave will talk about really is connected with sustainability and our energy performance contract. There's an article coming out in a Green Schools journal about the legacy of sustainability that Putnam Valley represents. So, we're pretty excited about that role. We think we need that kind of thinking for our district and for our region and nation. And we're on the forefront, and we're very glad, and Dave is part of that.
Well, Dave, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers a little bit about Dave Spittal. He grew up in Putnam Valley, graduate of Lakeland High School. That's before Putnam Valley had a high school back in the old days. Yeah. On the school board for many years.
7 years, yeah. And so I've been here in Putnam Valley since 1976. And, and I love the town, obviously. And after college, I moved back here and brought my family here. And both of my children went K through 12 in the district. And I've been a small business owner and had some flexibility to use some of my time and energies for community purposes of community involvement, and that's how I got on the Board of Education. And now I'm combining my passion for public education, specifically Putnam Valley, with the skills I've come to gather over the years, and really excited to make an impact on this district. Sustainability being one of my primary passions, and very proud of this district to be a leader in sustainability even prior to all the exciting things that are going on now. So.
When you look around the campus, there's so much activity going on.
Yeah. Construction
here, construction there. In the next couple of minutes, tell our viewers something about the energy performance contract and what's taking place.
Sure. The energy performance contract is essentially uses the savings in our energy usage to pay for upgrade in our energy infrastructure here, and an upgrade, changing it to a sustainable energy infrastructure. And one thing we're doing is geothermal fields here at the elementary school, and our campus at the high school and middle school has been run on geothermal for over 20 years, and so we use no oil whatsoever on that campus. This geothermal system we're installing this summer here at the elementary school will reduce our oil usage by about 30,000 gallons of oil per year. So ongoing we'll use less oil, obviously. And then besides that, another part of the energy performance contract is a solar photovoltaic on all of the flat roofs, basically, at the high school, middle school campus, and putting the solar also on the transportation building here at the elementary school. So that will reduce our electric usage in a significant way. And also saving us also money that helps pay for this upgrade in the infrastructure. Lighting in the schools is another big thing we've done this summer, where just virtually every light bulb has been changed to an energy efficient LED lighting. And not only does that save a significant amount in energy consumption, but also will make our schools brighter. Their lighter gyms, common areas, and classrooms will have a brighter.
You know, Fran, when you think 30,000 gallons, that's a lot of oil. And the fact that oil price has gone up, you know, with your home, my home, prices up now over $3 a gallon, $3.50 a gallon again. That's a tremendous savings for Putnam Valley taxpayers.
And that is, when you think about the savings for the taxpayers, we also think about how we can use that for educational resources for the academic life and the social emotional life of our students. So every penny we save from the facility goes into our educational program. And that is why we've been able to keep the district tax rate at the tax cap or below the tax cap for the last several years. We've used all of our possible ways of saving from the operations of our facilities to use those funds for the good of the student in the classroom and to make this school district the best it can be. You know, we are really working hard at that. And so these goals of sustainability are more than the scientific research and our passion for doing the right thing, which we believe in strongly. It's also about how do we develop those resources for our students and make sure that they're getting the very best educational program we can.
With all the activity going on, will there be any changes in egress to various school buildings in Putnam Valley this year?
Well, not at the elementary school campus. At the high school, middle school campus, there'll be a change in the traffic pattern based on not the work we're doing here, but based on a later start time for high school students. And, from my end, we've addressed that with some, infrastructure, some changes to the drive-in and the signage and the striping on the driveway in to provide a hopefully most efficient way we can deliver our students and faculty to the building, and thousands of people in about 10 minutes is what we need to do. So but we're prepared for that, and there's of course a lot of communication to the community to let them know there's a change in the way we are operating, especially for delivering children to school at 7:50 in the morning.
And of course, with the transportation aspect of your job, you want to remind the folks out there, the first couple of days of school, the buses might be a little late, not to panic.
Yeah, well, but we also have, with the later start time, it has a benefit of having our high school students get extra sleep time, which we know is tremendously beneficial for their learning. But one other implication is that the bus routes are going to be shorter because we have more kids coming in at the same time. So the efficiency of our transportation to the school increased. So some 40-minute bus rides will now be reduced down to about 22 minutes. And so that extra that extra savings in will hopefully redound to sleep for the kids. And also because they're shorter trips, they should be more. We should be able to land them into the school, more in a more tight period of time. So that's should be better.
Fran and I have been talking about this for the last couple of years, actually.
Yes.
And this is something that's happening in Putnam Valley.
Yes, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
Because we know that we need to have a great deal of communication when you're doing something of this nature. It is a change, and there are some changes that affect people in different ways. But overall, Recently, there have been a number of articles in the newspapers and journals about the sleep issue and how it's affecting both high school and college students. And we could see as much as an additional hour of sleep. That's a lot for a student who's up very late at night, all too often. I did want to mention, while we're talking about some of Dave's initiatives this summer, how we are addressing some safety issues.
Mhm.
Dave has been very active in being able to implement a system where the kiosks or the entryways in the school will be in the middle school and high school, between the two entry doors, which provides another layer of safety. Maybe Dave would like to explain what's been done.
Yeah, so right now we have two sets of entry doors at the high school and middle school campus. When someone visits the school, they'll be seen on camera and then buzzed in through those two doors, and then they'll go to a kiosk where someone will check to make sure that they have a purpose to be there, and then allow them to go elsewhere into the building. Now we're bringing that check-in person between the two doors, so that we'll be able to buzz them into the first door. Then they'll be addressed to make sure that they have a purpose to be in the building, and then they'll be checked and given the sticker to show that they're allowed in the building. Then they'll be buzzed in through the second door. So we'll keep them completely out of the school until we know that they're safe to be in the school.
Security,
and
prime
security.
concern.
Yeah.
And we have been working with a firm, Altaris, and they have been helping us with some of our review of safety, and they'll be presenting at our first board meeting in September on the 6th. So this is all part of the way we're hoping to provide the safest possible environment for our students.
Well, Dave, welcome aboard.
Can I tell you about one more safety
Of course,
thing?
sure.
One other safety thing that we noticed was our middle schoolers were having recess out in our parking lot.
Oh.
For 40 years, I had recess in that
40
parking lot.
years.
So
Taking 40 years.
it's 40 years. So 40 years ago, I decided no. So we're moving that recess to behind the building in a more safe, so our children won't be out there in a safer environment back behind the school for recess. Just another thing that we've done this summer to improve our safety.
And that took a lot of work because there were some storage facilities there, and it needed to be brought up to a situation where the kids could play and have a good recess experience. So a lot has been done this summer, and we hope to show those different types of improvements.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Dave Spittal, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
As they say, in Putnam Valley, no one ever sleeps, and especially the school district. And now we're talking about a referendum coming up this fall, and our friend Jeremy Luft is involved in that.
Yes, Jeremy's been very active in helping to facilitate the Facilities Planning Committee throughout last year, and working actually with Mr. Spittal on how we consider developing our district to make sure that it is mirroring the needs of our students going forward in the 21st century, how they're going to be successful because they're in an environment that actually promotes collaboration, problem solving, active learning, student agency, and choice. Dr. Luft has been instrumental in that process and in innovative teaching as well.
Jeremy Luft, welcome, sir.
Thank you very
How's
much.
your summer?
It's been going great.
Yeah?
Very busy around here.
Very busy around here.
It is.
All kinds of activities taking place.
Yeah, the students leave, but the hallways are certainly still buzzing.
And of course, in the fall, it gets more hectic, especially this fall, because a bond is coming up, we understand?
Yeah, we started a facilities planning committee a little over a year ago, consisting of both district employees and community members. And really, it was an opportunity for us to look for sort of a long-range vision for how we improve our facilities to support our programs. And that through several iterations of plans and keeping sort of the financial burden on the taxpayers in mind, that committee ultimately reached a recommendation in which they sent forward to the Board of Education for consideration And it is our hope that the board will vote to go out to a bond to support the work that was detailed by this committee. So it was a lot of work. It was really a collective effort of district and community members. And we think ultimately it will certainly benefit the students of Putnam Valley.
What kind of work are we talking about here?
Well, a vast majority of the work is scheduled to take place at the middle school. The middle school has remained remarkably untouched from when it was built in 1972, as well as when I attended there in the 90s. It looked almost identical to what it looks like today. So that building is certainly in need of a facelift. It's in need, currently does not have a library, so we would look to introduce a library. We would look to do improvements in the cafeteria and kitchen. It may not be known to everyone that we cook the food in the high school and transport it to the middle school because the kitchen is not big enough to actually cook their own food. Performance space is an issue there. So really, it's taking a look at the entire building and finding ways to improve the instructional environment, improve our cultural arts spaces there, and really just most effectively use the space that's there, creating small group instructional rooms, rebuilding some classrooms to make them a little more modern, flexible, active spaces for learning. It's a much needed upgrade for that building, which is sort of almost intact from the way it was in 1972. So that's the vast majority of it. The other piece is a health and wellness center. The district struggles to find space for our athletic teams, especially practice space. In many cases, we have groups like cheerleading and wrestling in the hallways or in the cafeterias, and really they're deserving of their own space as well. So it's really an indoor turf space, but it would provide a space for us to have sports teams practice, which would then alleviate overcrowding in some of our gyms. And it's also a space that we would be able to utilize for indoor recess for the middle school. I don't know if you've ever seen what middle school kids look like when it's raining outside and they're stuck inside, but they need an opportunity to run around and use up some of that energy. So that would be another opportunity. And then it's a space that would be available for health and physical education classes. And the last piece is it would certainly be a space that would be opened up for community access, where youth sports or other community-based groups would be able to rent this space. And I know as a parent of two boys very involved in youth sports, I spend much of my time chauffeuring them around to other indoor turf spaces in the area. And this would be something right in their own backyard.
You know, Fran, after 46 years, it's time for a change. It's time for a facelift.
Yes, and the facelift really... Wait a minute. Well, we won't get personal. But at this point, what we're looking at really is how do we help our students succeed in a new world, a new global environment, where they're being asked to learn differently, think differently, be creative in different ways. You know, I often think about the TV show Shark Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a little example of that here. We had our own little Shark Tank at the elementary school not long ago. And that is really the world that our students will be involved in. They'll need to come up with ideas, be able to talk about them, solve problems, work together to solve problems, collaborate. We don't have spaces in which they can do that now. We don't have what we call learning commons, called the library for most of us, but it's a learning commons, a place where you can not just look at books, but look at other ways to do research, to work together on projects. We need to think differently about our facilities so that they mirror the kind of world the students are going to have to work in and succeed in as they move on. So it's a different world from ours. And we are using the current facility, adapting it as best we can to that world. But this is an opportunity as we look at a building that really is outliving some of its structure, its infrastructure, to make sure that we create something that's going to take them into the future. So it's an exciting opportunity. And in addition, Dr. Luft is, alongside of the facilities part of this thinking, is also working on a professional development project with teachers on innovative teaching strategies that maybe we can hear from Dr. Luft on that, because I think that helps us understand where the shifts are in terms of education as well as the facilities.
So how has innovative teaching helped the children in Putnam Valley?
Sure. Well, I think it's all aligned. I think as we try to make our instruction more individualized for students and really provide them a learning environment in which they develop those skills in which they'll need to be successful in their future endeavors, that we need to prepare teachers with the skills they need to change the model in which they teach. And the traditional factory model of education, in which many of us went through during our times in school, is changing, and the workplace has certainly changed from what we were preparing students for, and it's only fitting that our instructional program changes along with it. So just on a note on the facility side, although we're not trying to find spaces to put students, this isn't an enrollment-driven decision. It's very much a programmatic-driven rationale. Why as we want more diverse offerings, we need to have more spaces for those offerings and more modern spaces for those offerings to take place. So we had a cohort of teachers that filled out applications and volunteered to be part of this training we're calling the Innovative Classroom Academy. And it's teachers spanning all 3 buildings from K to 12. And it's an opportunity for them to come together and get sort of high quality professional development in all sorts of different instructional strategies, including sustainability, including how to alter their classroom environment to support multiple learning modalities, and how to provide students voice and choice in their instruction and really find opportunities to engage all students in learning. And throughout the year, these teachers will be participating in this cohort. And at the conclusion of the year, they're all committed to providing turnkey training to their peers. And that's a great way for us to continue to push the message out to larger and larger groups and allow it to sort of spread organically from teachers to teachers. So it's a model that I've used in the past that's been very successful. We will have met 3 times this summer, and we'll continue to meet throughout the year. And it's a great group of teachers, and they're really interested in rethinking how they do their instruction and how they set up their classroom. And they're eager to keep working together. They learn a lot from each other.
That's wonderful. Great. Exciting things happening in Putnam Valley. Jeremy, we thank you.
Thank you very much.
And have a great school year.
Thank you.
Jeremy Luft.
Thank you.
We have a new SRO at Putnam Valley High.
Yes. Sadly, Ryan McMahon has left us, but he has moved on. He's been promoted to investigator, and he did a wonderful job for us. But I've met the new SRO, Dan Murray. He's very excited to be here, and he's going to be a great addition, I know, to our school district.
I mean, talk about Ryan, and of course before Ryan was our friend, our female friend over there. Corinne Pitt.
Yes.
And I guess there's something about Putnam Valley. These people really excel once they leave here.
That's right, and they do beautifully. I have to commend the Sheriff's Department for the people they're bringing in. They are very careful to ensure that we have officers who connect with students in a very positive way. That's what we're looking for, because our students see them as allies, really, in their quest, in our students' quest to succeed and to grow.
And there'll be an SPO here at the elementary level.
Yes, and we will, Officer Turner has retired.
Right.
So we're waiting to see who that SPO will be, that patrol officer, yes.
Security a paramount concern.
Security is a concern throughout the nation and in our school district as well. When parents leave their children here, they entrust them to us. We have to focus, number one, on safety. And we are doing everything possible that we can to ensure that this is a good, safe place for kids.
What's your wish for the 2018-19 school year already?
Well,
my gosh.
I'm wishing that everyone, our staff and our students and our parents, have a sense of well-being, that they grow both emotionally and academically during the school year in a positive way, and feel that they are fulfilling their aspirations for schooling here at Putnam Valley.
Fran Wills, Superintendent of Schools in the Putnam Valley School District, we thank you so very much. You've been watching Inside Putnam Valley Schools. I'm Eric Gross along with Fran. We'll be back in a month or so with an update once the first school year, those school bells ring for the first time. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye now.